And then I was working at Marriott Hotel in Busan as a front office agent. Then I got master degree in the States. I came back to South Korea, and I was working front office in Sofitel Ambassador in Changchun-dong. Then I had a very unique and special work experiences in Park Hyatt, Seoul, which is in Samsung-dong. When I was working in Sofitel Ambassador, I got to know that there is a new Park Hyatt. It's a 6-star hotel in South Korea and second Park Hyatt in Asia. So it's kind of dream job, and all hoteliers want to work in Park Hyatt. So guess what? I applied, and I got job offer as a front service manager. So I was founding manager of front service and helping front office, operation. So that was very unique and very special experiences because I had work experiences in hotel, but not managerial level. But Park Hyatt, I got managerial work experiences. So I learned, hospitality management from the States for my master's degree, but I had an opportunity to practice what I learned. So when I was working in Park Hyatt, I applied what I learned in my master's degree. So I did, interview, and I selected my staff, and I trained, I made a policy and procedure. I had an executive meeting. I had a great opportunity to practice what I learned for my master's degree. So as you know, Park Hyatt, I see that, when I was working there, in the highest, average daily room rates, and also only celebrities or high, some famous people are coming to the hotel. And I had a very fond and also very interesting experience and episodes. And why I chose to be an academic, because I was very good, I had a very good opportunity to be successful in, industry, like, GM. But I took, my, academic, opportunity because I really want to be a teacher. Because I used to be Sunday school teacher at church. So I really want to teach, new generations. So I took opportunity to study further and so-called PhD. And when I got my PhD, I had a job opportunity in the States. I got job offer from American universities, but I chose to take job opportunity in New Zealand, Auckland. So I came here nearly 13 years ago. So far, so good. I have really enjoyed working and living in Auckland, in New Zealand. And I'm happily married, and I have 3 boys. So raising 3 boys are not really easy at all, but I try to enjoy raising 3 boys. And what I do here is to teach and doing research. And as Professor Khu mentions, nowadays, I'm really working hard on my editor job. So far, nearly 20 months or 22 months, I am a leading, editor of GHTR. And from the beginning to the end, I worked really, really hard. So the content or the information I'm going to share with you today is really based on my firsthand experience. So I really want to share with you my own experiences. So I really want to teach you, or I really want to share with you what I experienced rather than what I study or read from book or from documents. So this is my information, but I want to know about you to further. So please raise your hand. I know that Zoom link has a function of raising hands. If you are PhD students, raise your hand. How many PhD students? Oh, I can see that someone is a PhD student. Yeah, Mina, Chaeyoung, Sujung, Yerin, Eunji, Juyoung, Amin. Good. Yeah, so raise your hand if you are a master's degree student. Rupai. Oh, it seems that you are from India. Rupai, right? Yeah. Which part of India?
I'm from the eastern part of India.
Eastern part.
Yes.
Yeah, Mumbai.
Yes, it's like Kolkata, near Kolkata, West
Kolkata.
Bengal. Yes.
I see. Yeah, Bengal. Yeah, I used to visit, Kerala and Bengal.
Southern part.
That's the
I see.
western part. Yeah, southern part. Good. So Hejin, Tain, Elisa, Umina, and Soyan, and I, you are from master degree students. Okay. What others? I only see that, hands around the 20 something, but I see that 61 or 62, participants. Who are you? Are you ghost? What do you do? Yeah, Soya, please check who turn on camera and who doesn't open camera and who actively participate in my seminar or not. Please do so and get the record. And I see that this is a three credit hours. I think attendance by itself may not qualify to have passing. So if you can penalize or make a note who didn't really participate in seminar, you missed their absence in this seminar. Okay. Yeah, I enjoy scaring my students. Some happy or some positive scaring. Some tension is required. When I teach my students, if I don't have any tension, they don't focus on my lecture or on my experience, the learning experiences. You need to be serious about your learning experience and you need to be participating in your learning experiences. So, okay, so now I just assume that most of you are postgraduate students. And next question is, what do you want to get out of this seminar? What do you want to learn? What do you want to achieve out of this seminar? Marking good grades or just attendance? Hejin, Huang Hejin, tell me, what do you want to get out of this seminar?
Just learn how to learn about research, maybe.
A lot about research. That's a very
Yeah.
technical, answer. Okay, Amin, what do you want to learn? What do you want to get out of this seminar?
I want to hear your experience because once you're a student, you're a master and PhD student, and now you're teaching your student and do research as well. So I want to learn about your experience and improve myself from that.
Okay, that's a good answer. What about Unji Lee? What do you want to get out of this seminar?
Yeah, I also hear work experience or how to research well and your research topic. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. So let me go to the real topic of this seminar. Journal publication. Just raise your hand. I think Mina, you can remove your hands. Umina, you raise your hand. You want to say something to me? Umina, I see that you raise your hand.
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Yeah, so you have emoticon. You just remove it. Any questions you have? No? Are you outside?
No.
Yeah, if you can, please open your camera so that I can see who you are. Okay, so journal publications. So my question now is anyone here in this chat rooms? I had a journal publication experience. Raise your hand. Anyone? Just raise your hand if you have an experience. Oh, Amin, Guan, and Yerin. So what journal? You got publication or just a submission experience or publication?
Yes, publication as a co-author.
Co-author. What journal?
Journal is Electronic Markets.
Electronic Market. That is a good journal.
Thank you.
And so how do you know, working on journal publications? So you must learn from your supervisors. or,
Yes,
you know.
yeah, advisor from
Who's
advisor.
your advisor?
Chomoku, Professor
Oh,
Chomoku.
you have to be very careful.
Yes.
So he taught you about, meaning of journal publication, what really matters, what is important, what should be,
Yes.
what should avoid, and etc. etc.
Yes, he's a good advisor, as you know. So he he advised many many things. For example, journals or how
unfair
to.
feeling. In front of me, you talk to flat to me is very unfair. You talk to me like,
Yeah. Okay, I see. So
okay.
my advice.
When you drink
yeah.
with your friends and colleagues, talk to me in front of me. I don't like that.
Okay. Okay, fair enough. And I'm in Guam. So what journal you submitted?
Some of the Korean journals and one of the sustainability.
Sustainability, open access journal.
Yes.
Okay. So when you submit your paper to sustainability,
Yeah.
how and why you chose sustainability?
How I want. That was my first experience to submit my article. So I want to learn the whole process of sending and doing review and completing. And that result was not very clear at the moment. So I had to choose the journal. So I decided with my professor.
Okay, so basically you are a student. So
Yeah.
most information about journal publications you get, would obtained from your supervisors. So my topic today is most information may be covered by what you learn from your supervisor. For more systematic way, I try to give you some basic information about journal publications. So it is so important to understand who are players of journal publication. Definitely authors, right? You submit your paper as an author, as a co-authors, first author, corresponding author, different types of authors. As an author, you submit your paper, right? Once you submit your paper, what happens? Editor would assess contribution of the paper or research, and editor would decide whether or not that your research deserves peer review. Peer review means that you will get assessed, your research will get assessed or evaluated by reviewers. And the reviewers often are professors in that field. And JHTR review process is quite rigorous, and up to 70% of submissions got immediate, reject without any review. But around 30% of paper has opportunity to get peer review, and reviewers, our journal really apply that experts will have a look at your research. So meaning that editorial board members, 2/3 of review teams are composed of editorial board members. So editor, reviewer, author, and also you need to understand the publisher as well. Publisher is accountable for copyright and all legal aspects. So when you choose your journal, you need to consider who are the editors, what are the review process. At the same time, who are the publishers? Who is the publisher? That's also important. Why? Because depending on publishers, the potential impact of your research might be different. For example, nowadays, major players in our field, Elsevier, Sage, Emerald, Francis and Taylor, 4 major publishers. They have their own network to make sure that research published in their platform or outlets get highly cited. And then lastly, you need to consider audience. Who is going to read your article? Most scientific or academic journal articles read by academics, such as professors or postgraduate students. So it is very sad that your research will be just read by only researchers. However, in reality, I just checked, over 95% of the proportion of audience groups are academics and graduate students. And types of your type of research journal publications in terms of contents, empirical versus conceptual. Empirical means that you have data or information obtained. On the other hand, conceptual research, no data, either secondary or primary. Without any data, you explain what you think about in your research in a conceptual way. So there are two major types of publications. And also depending on length, full-length article, short-length research note, there are different categories. When you work on your research, particularly for journal publications, you need to know what types of publication you may have. Different journals have different categories and different types of submission. To be a good researcher or to be successful in your journal publication, you must understand wide range of types of publications. And also, this is another area, focus. There are two major types of publication, regular issues versus special issues. Some journals may have a regular issue anytime you submit it, regardless of any time span or time restrictions. But nowadays, it's kind of no. Many academic researchers or research or editors, they have special issues for given specific time frame, and then they invite research for certain particular topics. In JHTR, we now have two special issues like technology focus and responsible tourism and hospitality. And very new special issue is coming up, which is above and beyond service experiences. I may give you more information about new special issue very shortly. And third, aspects you need to understand is decision. As I said, over 70% or 75% of original submission got immediate reject. It is called desk reject. So in JHTR, we have 3 editors. So depending on topics, we share or we distribute, original submission. And handling the editor make a decision. It may require peer review, or it is very difficult to go through peer review process, and we save our resources like a review because we have a very quality review. We aim to have a very quality review, so we try to save our resources. How to keep or save our resources? We don't give a review opportunity for papers whose contribution may not be apparent or clear. And then once paper is being reviewed and it has revision opportunities or reject. Most cases in first revision or first review, either revise or reject. And once you obtain the revision opportunity, you need to be very, very serious about it. Because if you pass, first, review process, is a very high likelihood to get ultimately accepted. But there is no guarantee. I share with you maybe around 20% of revised paper got rejected. But most cases, 80% got another revision opportunity or accept. Most likely another revision opportunity. But now I want to share with you why 20% of paper, even though they obtained the revision opportunity, failed or rejected. because they didn't pay attention to reviewer's comment. They believe that, oh, this comment is, they just subjectively interpret or understand the meaning of comment. Some good authors, diligent authors, always check with the editor. When they revise their paper, if they are not sure or unclear about reviewer's comment, they always go back to, editor. Oh, I'm not sure of the meaning of this comment. Can you clarify this meaning? Guess what? Editor clarify it and you get opportunity. But for some reason, like Asian researchers, they are so naive and so, how can I say, power distance. So they are very scared or very hesitant to contact editor. No, you feel free to contact editor. If you need additional information, clarification, you need to contact editor. Some journals, now I think my journal has very short, time frame. I'm very proud. 22 months ago when I took over, editorship, our focus is very timely review. So our review time is quite shorter than other top tier journals. But you know what? Some authors, their paper is being reviewed for over 3 months or 4 months, but they don't contact editor. Why? Because they're scared. They don't want to bother, journal. No, you are legitimate, or you should feel free to contact, editors or publishers. That's so important. So this is two-way communication. Don't assume. Some people just ask their colleagues, oh, I submitted to, such and such a journal, and they are very slow. What should I do? How he may know? He has no idea, and she has no idea. Only editor knows that. Then you can directly contact editor. Don't be scared. Some Asian, people are so humble or naive. They think that's bothering editor. No, that's their job to do it. So my suggestion is just feel free to contact editor, but don't make any mistake. Don't make any silly mistake, because when you interact with the editor, if your communication is not really up to date or some issue, you may make some bad impression. So my suggestion is quite circumspect or careful when you interact with the journal editors. And characteristics of journal publications, as I mentioned, types of journal publication you have to understand. So if you know a range of types of journal publications, you may target certain type of journal publication in a timely manner or strategically. Otherwise, if you just aim regular issue, you just aim, qualitative or quantitative or research note, you just miss some potential opportunities. So to make journal publication, you have to clear about rule of game, scope of journals, types of journals, characteristics of journals. It's really helpful for you. But you may say, oh, Peter, I'm just a master student or a PhD student. I'm student still. I'm learning. So I assume that my supervisor can teach me or tell me everything. No way. Your supervisor, just like me, sometimes very busy. We are not just looking at you. We are not looking at your research project. So you need to make some input. So I always talk to my PhD students or master degree students. Your supervisor is your resource. If you use your resource, good for you. If you don't use your resource, I'll say thank you, because I'm very busy. I have many other things to do. If you don't contact me, if you ask me, I'll say thank you. But from student perspective, please assume your supervisor as a resource. So try to get information. Good students always give close-ended questions. Bad students always have open-ended questions. For example, students always ask the professor, oh, what do you think about this? What should I do? That's the open-ended questions. Most cases, you will not get what you want to get. However, if you study hard, and if you prepare a meeting, if you prepare close-ended questions, your supervisor will be likely to choose the best option for you. Don't expect too much from your resources. So you need to smartly take advantage of your resource. So you do your own work and prepare close-ended questions, meet your supervisors, and get what you want to get. That's my suggestions. And also you need to understand usability. What do you mean by usability? Nowadays, many people think that impact factors are important. Unfortunately, impact factors are important. Many research is proxy of quality of research is represented by impact factors. But usability, in addition to impact factors, nowadays, there are many parameters to assess true impact or usability of your research. Have you heard about, citability, not in addition to academic citation? There are different indicators, how many times your research gets cited in social media. And also some folks or magazine, there are indicators as well. So when you find some reference information, not only rely on impact factors, but also rely on other indicators as well to understand usability. And also you have to understand double-blinded, meaning that your research shouldn't be known by reviewers. Reviewers shouldn't know this paper is written by you. At the same time, you shouldn't know who are the reviewers. Now it's the hot topic is ethics of research publications. But double-blinded means that you have to assume that no one knows your research except for editor. That's very important. So meaning that don't argue, blinded, review process. Some, reviewers are very nasty or very, very attacking or, judgmental. But when you receive, reviewers comment or feedback and even, revision opportunity, your brain must be cool, although your heart is warm and hot, warm. So you have to cool down your brain and very objectively address, because you know that they have no idea who you are. You wrote that paper. At the same time, when you review, you have opportunity to review. You need to have a mutual respect. And lastly, socially constructed knowledge. What do you mean by this? It's not perfect. When you look at, published articles in very good journals, you can find some errors, mistakes, not good at all, but it's published. So many people say this is by luck. If reviewers are very tough or very critical, your research paper may get rejected. But if your reviewers are very lenient and kind and constructive, you may get revision opportunity, ultimately published in the journal. So socially constructed knowledge means that not perfect knowledge. You have to expect some error. But as an editor, we try to minimize error. We try to minimize any common problems. But you have to expect that this knowledge or this information is socially constructed knowledge. So good researchers should be good at maximizing or exposing the best aspects of your research and somehow not completely hiding, but mitigate seriousness of problem. Because this is a human being, not AI. Not AI is assessing quality of real research. Your research is being assessed by human beings. So you have to understand that. So meaning that if your best paper get rejected, just accept it. Because good thing is we have many journals in our field. But when you get rejected, somehow, if you have any respect for the journal, you need to respect the feedback they receive. Some researchers, they got rejected and they are so mad and angry and submitted to another journal. You know what? Someone like me, I am, editor and coordinating editor to Hospital Tourism Journal and also editorial board. I often see the paper I rejected, submitted without any change. Human mentality. Oh, this guy. I spend my hours to give you feedback, but they just ignore my feedback. So guess what? I reject it. Again, and also sometimes I just let editor knows, oh, this paper was rejected such and such, because I talk quite often, editors of our major journals. So it would make a very bad impression. Hospitality tourism field is very small. Reputation management is very important. So people will see who you work with. You have to be very, very careful because you will get opportunity for collaboration opportunity. They can have some very sweet words. Oh, your country, yeah, you can do this, but you will get authorship. For long-run reputation, you have to be very careful because the people in this field is very small, and people may judge you based on to whom you are working with. So, because you are a master degree student, so you should rely on your advisors. Some, ambitious PhD students, they work with other people without telling their supervisors, because they said, oh, my friend in different countries approached to me. If I just draft, this section, I will be co-author, I will do that. Some PhD students, they don't tell, supervisors and do their work. That will kill your career. If you have luck, you'll be no problem, but it will damage your relationship with your supervisors. At least until you finish your degree, even after you finish your degree, your relationship with your supervisor, either PhD, master, that relationship lasts forever. Because when you progress in your research career, people look at who is your supervisor. So it's like a marriage. You may divorce, but divorce document always follows you. So when I talk more later on, it is really important to link up with your supervisor. So
okay, Professor Kim,
yes,
I have a question.
Yes.
Okay, you mentioned now supervisor and the advisor as kind of a relationship as a marriage, even though the marriage is not going well and divorce is still a problem. Okay, but master degree students, they just got here for getting the master degree, not the research itself. Even PhD here in Korea, I don't know in New Zealand, but they want to get the PhD from this school rather than research itself. And then they realize, research is very important for them, and then to be a professor. But it's hard for them to change their advice suddenly after getting the school. So what should they have to do? Is it?
Actually, this is a very tricky topic because I have no idea about the administrative system in Kyunghee University. I share with you my own experience. When I studied my master degree in Ohio State University, I was admitted along with the scholarship. I got teaching assistantship. So for my master degree, at that time, I didn't spend my own money for my master degree in Ohio State. And the professor who gave me scholarship and admission is marketing area. Although I like marketing area, but I had some graduate seminar class in leadership, human resource management and leadership. I was fascinated in the topic of leadership. Although I love marketing, I really want to study further in leadership. So I tried to change my supervisor. Guess what?
Mm.
I got a lot of disadvantage. And the professor who hired me or who admitted me, had me, was furious. And even, there are some, some adverse impact. But do I regret it? No, I don't regret. Because at that time, I just followed my passion. So that's why I couldn't get my PhD in that Ohio State University. But I had a job experience in Korea, and I got PhD in Virginia Tech a few years later. So that's my personal experience. For your case, in Kyunghee University, I'm not quite sure. But my point is, you have to be very careful in choosing your advisor. Sometimes automatically decided, you have no way to change. Some universities, they don't allow students to choose or change supervisors or advisors. So it really depends on universities. But my point is, I want to highlight the importance of the relationship between advisor and student. Because in your research career, that really matters. And even your completion of your master degree, you have the opportunity to get PhD in foreign countries, like states or other, countries. Your master, depending on quality of supervision in your master degree, your capacity or your potential will be very different. If students have a quality master, research experience, their PhD will be another level. So I don't underestimate importance of supervision in master degree, because they said, oh, your career will be decided by PhD. I don't want to say that. Even supervision in master program is so important. You must have a proper or good supervisors, particularly who is interested in your research. That's why my practical advice, you may want to do some, research topic which really excites you or you fascinate you, but you need to consider research interest of your supervisor. If your research supervisor is not really fascinated in your topic, then you need to seriously consider changing. Because you have no idea, you are like a baby. You have no idea about research, right? You are like being a toddler, and to get grown, you need a mom, or you need to get supervision or guidance. So that's a practical suggestion. That's why your current supervisor really matters for the success of your career. And whenever you have a meeting with your supervisors, be ready, 100% ready. I remember when I was in the States for my master and PhD, before I have a research meeting with my supervisor, I nearly stay up and prepared my meeting. And I always prepare close-ended questions. I try to give options for my supervisor to choose. So supervisor is also a human being. They may have a favoritism or subjectivity because they are human beings. But however, golden rule, if you're a hard worker, they love it. Most unpreferred, graduate students is a high maintenance student. Meaning of high maintenance students? Everything supervisor had to tell to the student. That's a high maintenance student. So on the other hand, dream students, low maintenance students, still to do by themselves. But don't worry, your supervisors will make a difference if you work hard. Then when you go for PhD, your capacity, your potential is at a different level.
I want AI student. Do it yourself and put my name on it.
Yeah, but I prefer human being because I also learn something when I interact with my students. Because
actually, based on your talks so far, I think you are not human being. You are I think a monster, the journal editor and professor.
I'm human being. I enjoy golf and I do some social things.
Yeah,
and
I think
love
so.
My social life. Yeah.
Your achievement tell everything.
So yeah, I'm still, I'm still, developing the way to go. That's what I believe. Okay. So I just share with you the meaning of impact. So this is our editorial principle. Impact stands for innovative, meaningful, practically relevant, academically rigorous, cross-disciplinary, and theory focused. So yeah, I think I talk too much about other stuff. So when you go to JHDR website, let me share with you JHDR website. You can get description of this impact. So let me send you a URL so that you can maybe after this seminar you can have a look. You know what? We made this editorial principle for a long time. We had a 1 year long process with editorial board and many different people to get this one. Let me send you your URL. So meaning of innovative, you do thought provoking, not just the user. Many people, they have a replication. Meaning of replication is that the model tested already. However, what they do is just add a moderator, just add a mediator, just add one construct and try to make their research is different. That's not innovative way at all. So innovative means that something new rather than something which has done already. So I just put so I think Professor Khu, I sent you a message, URL. You may share this message to I got some question from students. Yeah, in office we are working. Okay, so I missed some students. Seungjae. Seungjae is working in office, so that's why he couldn't open the camera. Yeah, sorry, I missed chat message, but I missed direct message from student either. So if Professor Khu share URL, I share with you. Then I think you can go and look at description of meaning of impact. So, but I just want to highlight some basic information of impact. So don't just accept the information of our research model as it is. You need to challenge it. That's the innovative way. Meaningful way is somehow some impact. It's a so what question, like a practically relevant. Academic rigorous is a proper methodology and use appropriate methods. Some researchers say that, oh, Peter, I'm quantitative researcher. Some researchers told me that I'm qualitative researcher. I don't like that term of qualitative researcher and quantitative researcher, meaning that they have no idea about other methods. What do you mean that? Depending on your research questions, depending on your research objectives, you should be able to choose either qualitative method or quantitative method or both. So meaning that you have to be good at both. You have to understand. For example, if you call yourself as a quantitative researcher and you have no idea about qualitative research, how can you review qualitative research, which took up significant proportion of our academic or knowledge base? So my point is, you need to be rigorous in terms of method and academically. And also frequently, hospitality tourism research has different disciplinary, such as marketing, psychology, and sociology, and etc. So we really encourage collaboration. So when we look at authors whose affiliation is hospitality tourism only. We are fine with that. But nowadays, impact factor of hospitality tourism journals are quite high. That's why we receive submission from authors whose affiliation is not hospitality tourism at all. Papers have little to do with hospitality tourism except for their sample. So most likely they got rejected because of weak contextualization. So my point is, if you want to get thought-provoking, innovative, meaningful research, it would be a good idea to work with someone in different hospitality tourism collaboration. So that's a good way to do it. And also theory focused. What do you mean by that? In addition to concept or construct itself, you need to consider unique context of hospitality tourism. Some papers, they use exactly same construct, and they said, oh, no research has tested in hospitality tourism context. That's the way for test to reject. So somehow you need to not just to say that hasn't been examined in hospitality tourism. Somehow some new theory or new construct you need to introduce. If you use existing construct, somehow modification and updates considering unique context of hospitality tourism might be required. By the way, nearly 1 hour, over 1 hour. I think I talked really hard, or I talked really much. So far so good?
Sure. So far so good. It's a new experience to me. Yeah.
I think a Professor Cool, everything is cool. Everything is easy, or everything is good.
No.
No, students.
I'm enjoying this seminar.
Yeah, thank you, Professor Cool. But I want to know, main audience, students, you guys okay?
No, students
I think
sometimes
just
very
nod your
tricky.
head. Yeah. And Nagyang, are you okay? Nagyang, are you okay? Yeah. You can unmute your microphone.
예. 죄송합니다. 제가 영어를 잘 못해서요.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay.
예, 듣고는 있습니다. 예.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah. What about you, Young? Are you okay?
So far, so good.
So far, so
Wow.
good. Okay.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, so once again, please stop me. When I talk, if you want further clarification, explanation, please stop me.
Okay, I have a question for the journal submission. Like these days, so many journal, number of submissions, maybe your journal too. Too many journals, China, and the data. So what are your big stream of the journal publication in these days?
Nowadays, we have a variety of topics and also a variety of context. America, because iCreate is based in America. That's why we have a very loyal authorship and also reviewers from America. At the same time, we have give thanks to Eurocreate conference. We have some European, country submission, but the vast amount of context are China. That's what I have to say. However, the stream or types, I would say, still hospitality is dominant, over 60% or 50%. But now the proportion of tourism topic is increasing, tourism as well. So I may give you further information about JHTR later on. And let me move on to next slide. So what to do for journal publication with impact? This is I just want to share with you, perspective change. So how can you find research topic which is innovative, meaningful, practically relevant, academically rigorous, cross-disciplinary, theory focused? How can you find your research topic? You may say, oh, my supervisor tell me. Supervisor tells me the topic. That could be your answer. But however, in New Zealand, I always challenge my students to select your topic. Even though I know some potential interesting topic, I never tell them right away. I always challenge them to come up with the interesting research topic by themselves. Even though I may suggest, recommend some research topic. So I believe the first way to do academic research is identifying problems or gaps in the literature. This is your homework. If you have a certain topic in mind, Hyunjin, Yoon Hyunjin, you just. So what's your research topic? Are you working on your master dissertation? Thesis?
I'm actually the first semester of the PhD degree.
Okay.
I'm actually like to kind of writing some paper about like hotel, real estate, rich market.
Okay. So you want the real estate.
Yeah.
So your first semester. So it is important for you to refine or polish your research idea, right? So are you sure of your research, questions?
I'm not really sure. I would like to asking about, this research topic because of this is actually kind of the important matter for me. I'm working at the hotel operator as a developer. So that's why I'm very interested about the hotel REITs industry. However, I would like to writing something, the paper that could help for the industry.
Okay.
Academic journal, it seems like something different. I have to find out something different perspective topic. So this is actually kind of that I'm, kind of thinking process. I could say that.
So my practical advice.
Yeah.
For PhD students, one method is you complete your PhD.
I would like to writing some paper that could be support and help industry.
So your PhD thesis might be of use for industry practitioners.
Yes.
Some practically relevant. So what
Yes.
to address what questions. But I think your primary focus of your PhD research is completion. How to complete your PhD? You need support from your supervisor.
Yes, that's right.
To get approval from your supervisor for your topic. Number one, you need to demonstrate you did homework. What is the homework? To identify gaps or problems in the literature. Real estate research. You have to demonstrate that you understand the current stage of real estate hotel industry. What kind of research has been conducted? What is the missing piece of information? What are the major or primary ways to collect the data? What kind of data do you look at? What is the missing source of information? So that's your homework, meaning that you need to comprehensively demonstrate that you are mastery of literature review. So that's why nowadays many researchers do systematic literature review.
Yeah.
Many researchers do meta-analysis. Why? That type of research, meta-analysis or systematic literature review, sums up or critically and systematically review the literature in terms of certain things. In your case, it's real estate. So what would be the first way? You do the literature review, and that's homework. You demonstrate that I know what has been done in the past. So you can say that this way hasn't been thought or explored by previous work. And the topics or construct over there, the construct was not really polished well enough. It needs more attention. So you can position your research in an effective way. Only if you identify gaps and problems in the literature. So that's a homework.
Yeah.
And
Appreciate
you are
it.
hospitality tourism field. You are hospitality and tourism field. One method is context, hotel industry. What's the unique contextual impact in hotel industry or hospitality industry? That'll be your that'll distinguish your research from other real estate papers in general business journals or academia. So that's important. So you need to have a contextual understanding. so that you can have publication of a research paper with impact. So I cannot help saying this: homework, homework, homework. That will be tiring process, reviewing literature. So that's why good researchers or good students know how to critically review the literature. Many people take a shortcut by looking at meta-analysis and systematic literature review, who review that topic on behalf of you systematically. At the same time, you build up based on existing review papers. So that you need to demonstrate that this is the missing piece of information, which must be investigated in a meaningful way. At the same time, you need to consider sorts of methods or ways of methods. The problem is, even though you identify missing pieces of information, most cases you are not accessible to the data because companies never share their own data, given privacy, confidentiality, their strategic importance. So you need to have a trade-off. So that's why now many researchers collecting, panel data, like Amazon MTurk or panel data. You know the meaning of panel data? SurveyMonkey, Qualtrics, and Amazon MTurk. You pay money, the company, and the company will recruit participants for you. Get a response from participants for you if you pay. Nowadays, maybe one response, maybe 30 cents US or 40 cents. I'm not quite sure at the moment. So many researchers, they use panel data. The beauty of panel data is enhanced internal validity, and also they can have multiple trials. Some researchers, they keep collecting data until they receive significant findings. So that's the beauty of accessible data. But if you want to get some meaningful, practical data, I think you need to consider collecting real data in real setting, which may be like out of your control. But if you obtain some valuable or some practically relevant data rather than panel data, you will have a very good chance to get published in top-tier journal. Because I had a look at top-tier journal in hospitality, tourism, as well as general management and marketing. That's always golden rule. If you have quality, very rare, valuable, practically relevant data, you will have a very good chance to get publication. So that's trade-off. When you do your research, publication with impact, data or method or information really matters to get successful. And second one is a single versus multiple, as I mentioned. If you have panel data, if you pay money and you can have multiple studies, and then you just decorate or demonstrate the rigorous process of your thought, methodology. But if you have very relevant, practically relevant data, single source of information would be sufficient. So you need to consider that's innovation. So meaning that to be a good researcher, you have to be good at conceptualization, like a thinking process, theoretical understanding, and thought-provoking based on your literature review. At the same time, you can make research implications or research contribution by having practically relevant data. So for your master's degree, PhD degree, like Hyunjin, you said, real estate, you really want to get some, practical, research papers. Good for you. But you definitely, you will encounter some challenges, problem to obtain meaningful data. Then you can work to obtain meaningful data now. But that thought process is always two-way. Some people just work on data collection just work on quality data. Some people just say conceptualization. No, that thought process must be mutually interactive. So those both one must take place at the same time, rather than separately, so that you can get some innovative idea. So based on data, based on information available, you can conceptualize in a very meaningfully or a very new way. So these are two important angles you need to consider. So how to do it? So nowadays, we have a vast amount of information given technology, machine learning, big data, and also if you are familiar with the data source, I'm sure that Kyunghee University is a research-focused institution. If I were you, I would make an appointment with a librarian. Many researchers underestimate importance of library support. You will be surprised. There are so many helpful databases for researchers. But you know what? Only few people use library resources. So your students, if I were you, your early career PhD student, early career researchers, I would make appointment with the librarian for your college and try to see a range of source of information because a vast amount of information there. So you need to be familiar with existing useful information. And skill sets, I would say you can't be good at everything. If you're good at something, you can find someone who is good at something you are not good at. So have a collaboration. So for publication, that's why there are many collaborations are going on. But you do it ethical way. Because skill sets, if you are graduate students, my suggestion, try to learn a range of skill sets. And then if you realize that you are good at something, you can find someone who is good at something you are not good at. Toolbox, methodology, really, really matters. Some research, as I said, some researchers, they only do qualitative research, only do interview. Why? They have no idea about statistics. Some researchers only do statistics. They keep doing statistical tests. Good for you. But if you have a real, very interesting research question, interesting data source, information, if you are good at methodology, your toolbox, you can select the best tool to tackle that problem. So if you are student early career researchers, try to learn. Try to, extend your knowledge base in terms of toolbox. So when you encounter the problem, your toolbox is method, right? You select the best or most appropriate tool to tackle research questions. So I suggest or encourage you to learn or to get, wide range of tools. And now it's a virtual world. So you can communicate or interact or collaborate with people in different parts of the world. And also you need to be proactive. What do you mean by proactive? You don't need to just wait. You can just approach. At the same time, you need to sales how good you are in terms of what. So I think interaction with your collaborators must be proactive. And as I said, know what you are good at, generalist versus specialist. Some researchers tend to be specialists. They only do certain aspects of research and they rely on other researchers, collaborators who are good at something he or she is not good at. But it's a very risky approach. Somehow, both generalist approach and specialist approach must be taken simultaneously. So one matter for research career, someone like you, postgraduate students, be clear about what makes you excited versus what makes your mentor excited, as I said. You can't finish your degree without support of your supervisor. So meaning that your research topic must excite both your supervisor and yourself. And keep doing what you do, never stop. Meaning that some students are very selective and they are very choosy. But in your level, do as many as possible. Do as much as possible. My PhD supervisor always used this analogy. You know, baseball hitter, keep hitting my bat into the tree and keep hitting. It shows something meaningless. It shows something just nothing. But by just hitting, I obtain something. My muscle and also my tension and also my spirit. So my point is, in your graduate studies, in your research career early stage, do as much as you can do. Either something which is not directly related to your research, has something to do with the research, do it. But always get, advice from your supervisor. And learn from everyone and everything. So meaning that some early career researchers are very selective in terms of collaborator or colleagues. Some, postgraduate students, they consider their colleagues or, classmates like enemies or competitors. No, they are not editors or not competitors. That's a very myopic perspective. You can learn from everybody in everything. So try to be constructive and positive when you interact with others. And lastly, be grateful for who you are and what you do. So this is your research career. You chose research career. I know some of you may just got a master's degree and go to industry, have some job. It's okay. But if you choose to have a career in research, academic career, this career is very meaningful because you create new knowledge and disseminate new knowledge. So you should be proud of what you do and what you can make a difference. So this is a sample to do research work. I like this analogy. Don't make overblown claims. When you write a research, somehow some researchers believe some lengthy or too much, so many decoration is required for good researchers. No, the best research work for me is as simple as possible. This is the golden rule. When you do your research, you can do this. You write up, look at this cool thing with this. This is an introduction or background, problem statement, whatever. And this is how we did the cool thing. And then this is the cool thing. Wasn't that cool? That's it. That must be your research. Rather than look at this cool thing we did, it's really cool, interesting. Don't exaggerate. If you keep saying it is cool, all of a sudden, that's not cool anymore. And this is how we did cool thing, apart from this bit that we forgot to mention, the other thing we didn't think one important, and bit that, company contributed, wanted to keep secret, have fun replicating research. No, you don't have to. So what matters is your message in your research paper must be simple. In technical terms, it's a parsimony. Your research, the information in your research must be parsimony. So last portion of my seminar is talk about JHTR. As Professor Khu, firstly mentioned, I am co-editor of the Journal of Hospitality and Tourism Research. So this research is a flagship journal of ICRE and legacy of 45 years and impact factor site scores, quality and timely review. And our vision is setting up standard and agenda in editorial practice and owned by all and transparent. So as you can see, I'm one of editors of JHTR. So we have term 2021 through 2025. I have a 5-year term. Unlike other journals, some journals, their editorship lasts forever. until somebody asks you to be out. But because this journal is owned by International CRE, which is the oldest and largest association for hospitality and tourism educators in the world. So this journal is owned by International CRE. So this is a flagship journal of ICRE. So we have a great pride in JHTR because ICRE, International CRE, as I said, oldest and largest association for hospitality tourism research, education, believe this journal is a flagship journal of ICRE. A legacy of 45 years, meaning that we have prominent, past editors, as you see, Abraham Pizam and Bob Bassman, Kay Chan, Anna Matilla, before, our editorship, Chris Roberts and Linda Shen. And impact factors. Now, hospitality tourism journals is very inflated, very high. There are several, theory or just explanation why so high. But I think we don't have any tactics or, playing games to do. But I think our impact factor size score is quite fine. However, but we used to be number 2 or number 3 in hospitality tourism 5 years ago. But in terms of impact factor size score, I think compared to 5 years ago, we are ranked quite low. So now we are currently working hard to enhance impact factor and size score. But I think that's beyond our control. But we try our best. But regardless of impact factor and size score, I think JHTR is one of 6 hospitality tourism journal in Shanghai ranking, and also top 4 hospitality tourism journals considered by Virginia Tech and Washington State universities and most American universities in hospitality tourism. Still, JHTR is one of the top 3 or top 4, top 5, top 6. So still our reputation stays, but we are currently working hard on it. And quality and timely review. I'm very proud that whenever I receive, we send, decision letter with the reviews. Quite often I receive thank you letter because they appreciate quality of review and timely review. I think in most cases, by the way, this is the figures. 2020, was editorship by someone else. But when we took up editorship 2021 and now 2022, the time for decision significantly decreased. So I believe that our review quality is second to none and also very timely. So we believe that we're setting a standard and agenda. So unlike other hospitality tourism journals, but there are some exceptions. But we believe we want to lead our field. So that's why whenever we make something new, we share with the academic communities, such as editorial principle and also policy for guest editors, like special issues, and also some new submission guideline. So whenever we make something new, we share with the field so that other journals can take advantage of what we introduce. So my point is, we are not just working for just the journal only. We are just working for hospitality tourism academia, particularly associated with the ICRE. So that's important characteristics of JHTR. And it's owned by all and transparency. As I said, I only have a 5-year term. I'm quite lucky to get selected or elected as an editor of JHTR. But we look for new editor from 2026. So what we do is we accumulate all the information and finding and pass it to next editor. So I think anyone can be editor of JHTR. So it's a very objective process. And I hope maybe someone in Kyung University may try for editorship at JHTR because it's a very transparent process. whatever we do, there is no hidden information. It's upfront. And it's a very rigorous and very scientific and very logical process to decide. So we assess, everything, and also owned by everybody. So we don't hide anything. We just share with the field. So that's what I'm proud of in, being a JHTR editor. So, and as I said, we have a current special issue, new technology impact, and very brand new a special issue, which I will show you very shortly. Because you are, attendees of our special issue, this seminar. So I thought about, any present or gift to you. So this is the very brand. It's available, online. Yesterday it was available, but we haven't publicized yet, TriNet or anyone else. But we are going to publicize. But you are the attendees of this seminar. I thought it would be good to share with you this special issue information.
Hi.
So you might be first person who get this special issue announcement. Let me play.
Hi, we are the guest editors of this JHTR special issue.
Experience is at the core of the hospitality and tourism world. Among all industries, hospitality and tourism are the leading forces in crafting memorable and transformative experiences.
We propose this current special issue to encourage global scholarship to attend to the contemporary innovations, trends, issues, and challenges revolving around various forms of hospitality and tourism experiences.
All submitted manuscripts will be assessed by the guest editors, who determine suitability for review at the JHTR. The review process is double-blind. Please pay close attention to the following due dates. We very much look forward to your contributions.
Yeah, this is a special issue. And as you see, guest editor, I think Dr. Lori Wu, Ellie Fang, Yushi Hu, and Wei Wei. I would say they are all Chinese, female researchers. And I would say they are very...
That's one of the problems. China, woman. There's no gender equality. There's no race equality.
Yeah.
What do you think as an editor of the chip?
So we believe this is a special flavor. Flavor. And also, I think that's very unique. I think their proposal was very strong. And that's why we accepted their proposal. But Professor Khu, you're absolutely right. They're all females, they're all Chinese. They might be, more toward, lean to, Chinese.
Why don't you put another Korean man and professor? This is more balanced.
Yeah, but we also have another, project because we publish, policy for special, issue. And given that we receive quality proposal, but we don't want to have too many special issues. So we have some, rigorous process of that. But I guess, the topic or theme of this special issue will be quite, interesting and excite, many scholarship in our field. Let me share the screen. So I think that's what I prepared so far. I think someone told me that usually seminar ends, last 1.5 hours.
Yes.
And maybe 30 minutes might be Q&A. And probably you may have questions. It may relate to research, or it may not be related to research, anything. Feel free to ask questions. It's floor is yours. Any questions about research, career, about myself, New Zealand, whatever?
Okay. I have a question.
Okay, Professor Khu.
About yourself. you earned your PhD from Virginia Tech and
Yes.
Ohio State University, so which is very prestigious school. So, but you know, in Korea we are very good level. Kyung University very good level of the world ranking, but still we are local. It's not the global, you know, school, even though we are global ranking. And then I think you know, the people agree or not, the market size is so different in United States and Europe. So PhD from United States, you got a market in the US market and the New Zealand market and China market and the European market. So the one of the reason is to go United States these days is a market, you know, penetration or entrance. I think is quality of journal and quality of paper is almost equal to the global level due to the data and due to the like Google Scholar, due to the, you know, like this kind of, you know, face-to-face meetings whenever, any times. So I think it's almost the equality with US and Korea as a matter of the qualification and the quality of the manuscript or whatever. But the, like what I said, the market size is so different. So as a point of that view, what do you think about you know, the gaps or they still remain? I know that, but you know, what's your opinion?
Yeah, I think I had a chance to visit Kyung University last July, and I met your dean, Professor Namo Chung, and he told me about, you know, project about international program, global, you know, degree program. I think that's a good way to do it, because now I think some, you know, institutions like Hong Kong Polytechnic universities, they have, you know, dual degree or, you know, partnership with University of Surrey and University of Houston, and try to, you know, because, you know, Hong Kong is Hong Kong, although that's a pearl of Asia in Asia, but now it's very restricted. And so how to, you know, be exposed to, you know, global or bigger markets. I think Hong Kong, you know, decided to have some collaboration with, you know, partnership universities, such as the University of Surrey and UNLV, and also University of Houston. I think Kyung University has an opportunity to have that kind of partnership with other, you know, universities, and also demonstrating that I know that there are great, you know, researchers in, you know, Kyung universities, and I believe that Kyung University researchers may collaborate with, you know, somehow, you know, some, you know, make some structure or system to work with other university, you know, researchers, and also have, you know, supervision, you know, co-supervision or some, you know, collaborations with, you know, foreign, you know, institution in foreign countries, like, you know, States or New Zealand or Australia and in Europe. I think that might be some suggestion. But however, I think Kyung University, in terms of ranking and also reputation, is good enough. That's why I see that, you know, where I can see, you know, international students are attending this seminar, not Korean. Why? Because they know the reputation of Kyung University. Like Elisa. Elisa, where are you from?
Hello, I'm from France.
Oh, France. So how do you know about, you know, Kyung University?
Because I have a lot of interest in Korea, Hallyu Wave, and soft power. And so I started to do some research about tourism in Korea. And so I found that Kyung University was one of the best university to study tourism. So that's why I applied here.
Yeah, see, I think, you know, people in other part of the world, they have vast amount of information. And then they are particularly interested in South Korea. And just like Elisa, you know, try to look for, you know, to find the best university in hospitality tourism. And she came. So, but I think it's a bit, you know, passive way. But I think it's a proactive way. It's, you know, potential market in different countries. maybe collaboration with a different, foreign, institution might be a good way to go. But, as I mentioned, in the beginning of this seminar, my colleagues in AUT are super happy with the Kyunghee University. Why? Because we used to have a, exchange, program, special program in summer, because January in Auckland University is the best weather. In Korea, it's very cold, right? It's terrible. However, in New Zealand, Auckland, best weather ever is around 27, average 27, 28, Celsius degree. And it's a very clear, and the weather is great. And also Auckland is a very dynamic city. And students come and have a program. And I asked my colleague to interview the Kyunghee University students. They are super impressed. English is wonderful. I guess, Kyunghee, to get selected for that program, they have to have an interview. And I think the best undergraduate students sent to, special program. But I have great respect for, studentship or quality of education in Kyunghee universities. Thank you for your questions. And students, it's time for you to ask questions. Trust me, this is your last opportunity to talk with me in this way. So don't miss opportunity. Okay, Yerin D.
Yes, I have a small question. And
sure.
Yeah, as you know, the top tier journals such as Tourism Management or ATR, JTL, they has a specific way they want to go. For example, TM is related to the data analysis. I mean the trendy data. They want to analyze the trendy data, and so I want to know that your journal. I mean that the journals that you manage, they have a specific way to go their own topic or the perspectives.
Yeah, that's a very good question. That's why, we try to, explicitly communicate with our audience, our stakeholder, what paper or what research we are looking for. That's our editorial principle. So let me show you the journal website so that I can show you what I mean. Can you see the screen about journal?
Yes.
So when you see that journal, description, so we explicitly and very clearly explain what kind of research we are looking for. See that our role is incubating, influencing, inspiring hospitality tourism research. Original research clearly advances theoretical development of practical values. And also I mentioned the impact. So you may ask me, Peter, but that's so abstract. It's not very specific words. But it's nearly impossible to say what kind of research we are looking for. So we try to be as clear as possible what kind of research we are looking for. The best way to glance or to understand what kind of research I need to submit to JHTR is to look at online first or newly published article. When you look at your newly published article, you can get some idea about what kind of papers you can have. But as you can see, impact, we look for some theory. So my point is how and why questions. Some papers, they just want to say that, oh, this is what I do and what I did. But they propose a hypothesis. The hypothesis development, what they say is, oh, because some people find this, some people found this, so we propose this hypothesis. It has nothing to do with how and why there is association or there are phenomena. Some explanation or clue of phenomena is required. So we prefer to see the novel or new construct or phenomenon, reinterpretation, rather than replications. What was done in different contexts or different fields. So we look for something new. That's all I can say. But when you look at click guiding editorial principle, as I mentioned, it has all detail, aim and scope of the journal. So meaning of innovative, meaning of meaningful, practical relevance, academically rigorous, cross-disciplinary, and theory focused. So you may ask me, oh, it'll be super difficult to get publication with impact. Tick all 6 criteria. You don't have to tick 6 all. If you tick one of them or 2 of them, you should try for HTR. Thank you for your question, Yarin. Good questions. Other questions?
Professor Kim, could I ask a question?
Yes, Sujong.
First of all, thank you for your giving very fruitful lecture today. In your lecture, you said relationship with supervisor is hugely important. So could I ask you share your experience, the most challenging moment with your supervisor in relationship, and how did you deal with it?
So I think a common mistake I can share with you. Common mistake is you assume, you stereotype, you define who is your supervisor. Don't rush to judge or just define your supervisor is. It's ongoing. Your supervisor can be made by you. So you may say that, oh, some people say my supervisor is such a guy. Or this guy never changes. Or this guy is tough. This guy is blah, blah, blah. Don't rely on what other people say. Your supervisor can be made by you based on your interaction, based on your attitude, based on your hard work. Your supervisor can be made. So that's because I made a mistake because I just judged my supervisor based on what other people talk about here. But don't judge, don't quick to judge your supervisors. And another example I have is this is not for supervisor, but this is not for students. This is for supervisor, just
yes,
like me.
Okay, I listen carefully.
If you are a supervisor and if you are early career researcher and have a chance to supervise, my general approach is not to be very kind to your students first time. First time, I'm not really kind to my students. I'm tough.
I'm too late.
Because I know expectation. So if I'm kind, students never work hard. Students always rely on me. Students never do homework because my supervisor is kind. So that's a huge waste of your capacity. So as a supervisor, I always be tough initially. And getting more lenient or kind or generous.
Okay.
By the end of PhD. So they know, oh, Peter is not bad. The first time, I look like very blunt and very tough and very cold, somehow cruel, but that's my strategy. So
I should have met earlier.
So they study hard because
nice advice.
But for me, I think what matters is to make students study hard. If you don't study hard, if you don't do your homework, if you don't do what you can do, your knowledge or your learning experience will be limited. But as a supervisor, as your teacher, my job is to motivate my students to study hard, to motivate my students to love their topic, motivate my students to love their research. That's my role. So from student perspective, and don't forget, your supervisor is human being, not robots, not AI. They are not perfect, but they are your supervisors. And it's so important to have a good relationship with your supervisor. What to do and how to do, you know it. So make a great deal of effort Sometimes you say that, oh, my efforts may not be working. That's true, it's reality. But you do something rather than nothing. That's my advice.
Thank you.
Other questions?
It's scary.
Professor, I have a question.
Oh, Jiyoung
Yes,
Kim.
I have a question about your career. If I'm not
Sure.
mistaken,
Okay.
I remember that you got a job offer from the States, but you choose New Zealand over the States. May I know the reason for that?
Oh, there are several reasons. One of the important reasons, I would say, they pay better, in the States because there's a PhD school, MBA program, and they pay better. And also, it's for my kids, education is quite good. So, good, education, good, environment. However, New Zealand, it has a PhD program. But that American universities don't have a PhD program. So what I learned is to be a good researcher, I need to work with the PhD students. By supervising PhD students, I also learn and staying up to date. So that's one of the reasons. And also, Auckland is very diversified and big Korean community. So in my office, I'm in the CBD, city center. Around my office, there are over 10 Korean restaurants. And I can choose, a lot of, various ethnic, restaurants here. And also grocery shopping, Korean markets, all things good. And most of all, I am Christian. So I thought about, my, calling. So it may be better to do some, evangelism or, some, Christian, services for bigger, Korean community, like in Auckland. So that's also important reasons why I chose Auckland. So there's a personal questions, but I'm happy to answer your questions.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Other questions?
Professor, I have a small question.
Yeah.
Ask a big question. Here's a big one.
Yeah, actually, it's really big question because I think it is really difficult to for PhD student to apply selectively use various research methodology for my research purpose. So I would like to know your opinion on whether it is important more to study my field of interest in depth or to learn a lot of various methodology. What should I priority to option?
I have no idea about your topic, so I may not be able to suggest appropriate methodologies. But PhD level, if you chose to take, research career, as I said, research method is like tools. If you have many tools, you can use the best tools. If you have only monkey, regardless of research question, you only use monkey. So you have a limited, scope of your research stream. But if you have a variety of tools, you can select best tools to tackle research questions. So that's why when I was in the States for my master's degree and for my PhD degree, I took a lot of research method classes. In America, I had to take courses about research method statistics to take, preliminary exam. Only I pass preliminary exam, I'm allowed to write up, proposal and, thesis. So I had to study, methods and statistics and, research methods. I think depending on your research topic, you may do some, research method you have to good at. But, research focused institution like Kyung University, I'm sure they have a free complementary research training program. So you may say, oh, it has nothing to do with my research topic. Why bother? I don't want to waste my time. But you know what? You have waste time. You waste time in YouTube or something, social. You just reduce your social and take some, webinar or some, training courses, and be familiar with a certain, methodology. And even you can teach your supervisor. But I learned this method. I think this method will be very appropriate and very, suitable for this question. And your supervisor can learn from you. But if you just look at your supervisor and just rely on your supervisors, you may just miss, good opportunity. So early career researchers, I really encourage them to pursue, learning experiences. Particularly Kyunghee University, research focused, #1 institution, they must have a good training program for research methods. So I hope that you can take advantage of some resources there.
Yeah, sorry.
you.
I must say sorry about good programs we don't have. We try. This is one of the good example to share the information with the eminent professors from all over the world. So we try to show them to our students and like a transparency and make them to the global level.
So
Yes.
I'm not eminent or I'm not special professor, but I'm flattered and I'm very happy because
You're
I love
eminent professor because you're editor of the chip and you're such a good,
Yeah.
good top tier level journalist.
Yeah, the reason why I accepted this, invitation is because of Professor Khu. Because of
Really?
Professor Khu invited me, so I accepted.
Thank you. It's my honor. Okay. Okay. No. Your colleague is strongly recommend me to invite you. So he's a good friend of mine. So I sure I says. Anyway, today I invited Peter Kim from New Zealand. He's editor-chief of the JHTR, which is a prestigious journal in our field, which is an honor to us and very straightforward to say and addressing many things, very important things that we have to do, follow him, okay, I guess. And Dr. Peter Kim, I thank you very much again. You accept my request and show your energetic, lecture to us. Probably our students after this lecture will shoot their manuscript to the JHTR. So please get some biased.
Okay.
Okay.
So
strong relationship. Get some biased.
Yeah. By the way, before I move, I always do this with my students at the end of lecture or session. I ask everybody unmute the microphone and say something. Not just thank you, but say something. So at the same time, so I may not be able to understand what you said, but that's the finale of my session. Please, I count 1, 2, 3, and you unmute your microphone simultaneously and say something to me. Okay?
Yes.
I count 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
감사합니다.
Have a great day.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 자, 감사합니다.
예, 감사합니다.
감사합니다. 뉴질랜드에서 보시죠.
예, 한번 오십시오.
네.
감사합니다.
네, 고맙습니다.
예.
소연이 잠깐 나하고 통화 좀 하자.
네, 알겠습니다.
내가 전화할게. 네.